that are vicious, that are hospitalizing people. So that's quite contrary to what people believe. And so what we come to scientifically is the knowledge that there's huge variation in behavior within a breed. In fact, there is scientific evidence from very early days, it's about 1940s, would you believe? So we're talking 70 years ago, we've known that there is greater variability within breeds than between breeds. How about that? Okay. So, the point is that all a dog does is it inherits a tendency to behave in a certain way, including being aggressive. And while we're about it, it is the individual dog that bites, it is not a breed that bites. Volume up, right, okay. I've got to do a Brad on you and shout until I'm hoarse. Sorry, Brat. Sorry, Brad. Is it Brad or Brat? So that inherited tendency which a dog gets is unique to that dog. And that then is modified by the second thing, experience or learning. And that learning, in fact, starts at 3 weeks, and it's particularly important up to about 3 months, when dogs need to learn social behavior and they need to be well handled and learn that certain types of people and animals are good. And a certain type of human that they need to learn about is the toddler, because the toddler behaves quite differently. And unless a dog is socialized to toddlers, you can get problems, because as some people have described them, toddlers are a subhuman species. They behave quite differently. And because a dog's socialized to adults does not mean to say that they get on with toddlers. Okay, so that's socialization. And then we've got to think about the experiences. We can train dogs to be aggressive. The police do this very successfully, under control. Sometimes dogs accidentally learn to be aggressive, as Karen Davis knows in her vet practice. Unfortunately, some dogs come in, they experience pain, and they don't behave very well next time they go back to the vets. Okay? That was an unfortunate experience. So we have that learning. Okay? And while we're on about the vets are very important of the third aspect of what affects a dog, and that's the present environment, the here and now. Just the presence of the vet there in the coat, in the practice, is enough to make some dogs aggressive. So that's unfortunate. Will often be aggressive to protect themselves. There's a threat. The dog might be aggressive to protect its territory. Bark aggressively, maybe have a go at somebody that comes onto the property. Okay, that needs to be managed and handled, which can be very successfully done. But unfortunately, some dogs perceive a threat to people who behave in unusual ways. And we're back again to the ankle biter, the toddler, because they behave in a very non-adult manner, which means that they in fact have the highest incidence of dog bite injury throughout our life. About 50% of your risk of being bitten by a dog occurs in that first 5, maybe 10 years of life. That's when you're most at risk. You just don't know how to. So, we've been talking about what's happening outside the animal, but we've also got to think about what is happening inside the animal. And as a veterinarian, I'm very aware that there are various painful conditions that can make an animal aggressive. And one of the, okay, I'm getting the signal that Brad can't hear me at the back. Okay, so one of the things that we have to be aware of is that some dogs bite because they're in pain. They might have dental pain. They might have an inflamed ear. Someone has hugged them. But sometimes it's a very subtle thing, like chronic pancreatitis. And this is where we need to get the vets involved, checking out the dog that has been aggressive, to make sure that that internal environment is not what is actually making it aggressive, tipping it over the edge. Okay, so what I'm saying is there are lots of factors that can produce aggression. And these factors start at the age of conception, and they go right up, right through to the moment of the attack. So with all these variables, we have a question. All these factors, what is it that is important in the dog bite data? answer is sad. We just do not know the relative importance of the different factors. And so, okay, one of the factors, the fact that it hasn't been looked at seriously, is the influence of the person who's handling that dog at the time. What is the attitude of that person towards risk? What is the behavior of that person? Now, you might think this is kind of strange to look at, but here in Melbourne, we are very privileged to have world-ranking, groundbreaking research that has shown the effects of human attitude, human behavior on the animal behavior, welfare and productivity. This has been done by Professor Paul Hemsworth, Graham Coleman, and they have shown that in fact this is very important, but it is yet to be looked at in dogs. So this leads me to a positive suggestion to the Victorian government. Why don't we utilise the experts in Melbourne to work out what exactly is and is not important in reducing dog bite injury? I've mentioned the research that's been done at the Animal Welfare Science Centre. You're going to hear in a few minutes from a person who can handle data professionally and give you statistically relevant stuff from the Monash University Accident Research Centre, Linda Watson, who's doing her PhD in this very topic. We've got, not far from here, the Royal Children's Hospital Safety Unit, a world-ranking hospital with people very skilled in accident prevention. And then, if I just might be allowed to say that within Melbourne, in fact, we have the greatest number of animal and veterinary behaviourists in Australia. This is all expertise which we'll take that as a vote of support. So what I'm suggesting then is that the Victorian government get a task force together, look at this thing constructively. Let's understand what exactly are the causes of serious dog bite. It can be done. I would suggest that is a very sensible and reasonable thing, because once we understand what the causes are, we can logically put in some interventions and some treatments. I think you'll agree that these task force